Hello, Gremolinos. Welcome to a cool, lovely, almost fall day in the middle of July. I'm Catherine, your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. And this is truly a chaos reading vlog because really I just have like some Libby holds in, I have some physical library books, I have an audiobook that I had to break down and buy because the library system failed me. I'll get to that when I get to that. But my day is already chaotic, even for me. I do have like a regular job and I have already had to do a bunch of stuff. I came in a half hour early and have knocked out a ton of stuff. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take like 2 seconds to get my audiobook started, and I wanted to show you the audiobook. So we're giving you a couple of minutes. I already shuffled my queer tarot deck. Ta-da! And I pulled a card, and so I'm gonna do that super fast. I know this is Speedy McSpeederson right now. It is the Knight of Swords. This is another swords. This is a different one though. I have the Knight of Wands, I think. Let me get this pulled up. But yeah, it is going to be a very, very busy day today. Here it is. Well, at least the swords part. Okay, page Knight. Stubborn, determined, impulsive. Oh my gosh. The Knight of Swords is like a tornado that tears through your life and upends everything with no regard for the damage they are causing. They are in it for the thrill, but usually unaware of people, their feelings, or the effect their actions have on others. The stubborn person wants to do it their way, and trouble tends to follow. The intense energy of this card will definitely show you a good time, but probably at a high cost. Whether or not that is your morals, someone else's feelings, or anything that can be betrayed. While the Knight of Swords may be intelligent and well-intentioned, in other ways they often have a hard time being aware of sensitivity and vulnerability. This is a very action-oriented card, perhaps signifying a very urgent situation is coming up, or warning you to think it through instead of diving headfirst into action without a plan. Going into a situation blindly is what this card basically stands for, and in most cases is urging you not to do it. You may have the confidence and bravery behind you, but don't act foolishly. Then the reverse is slow down. You don't want to risk burning out right now. You may be feeling scattered, acting impulsive, and harming people along the way. Nico Nada, they, them, is our model. Wow. I don't know. My day is already chaos, so getting a this is a chaos card is very interesting. And my asthma's acting up. I think it's the weather. I also have coffee, my Spirit Halloween mug. I keep calling it a mug. We're just gonna call things mugs. I've given up. I can't ever call this a tumbler. I always wind up saying mug. But it's my Spirit Halloween one. And I'm wearing, I have not been to Blackcraft Coffee. I have been to Blackcraft in Salem, but the coffee shop wasn't open, so this is an aspirational shirt. Because I do at some point want to go and get one of their giant cauldron coffees. One day. It's on the bucket list. But there is that. I'm trying to think. Really, I just need to start this audiobook because I have a lot of things to do. The audiobook is The Monsters We Made by Peyton June. And Peyton June, oh my gosh, wrote Bad Creek, which I did enjoy. And this, all I know about this is it involves cryptids. It's queer, and I believe it's set in the Midwest, so I'm very excited. But I need to get back to my very busy, very bananas day. Also, I got a grocery order right before all of this filming, like all my filming, and I was like running around my kitchen. It wasn't a lot of stuff, but still, I was like, ah! So I'm gonna go. I need to do things. So I will talk to you when I have an update on this. That update will probably be that I have finished The Monsters We Made, because I'm just gonna like lock in, put this on, and do all of the junk I need to do today, because chaos. Today is chaos day. Chaos. Ooh, also, yesterday Kristen and I watched Twisters. Delightful film if you've never seen it. Not Twister, Twisters. Delightful. Anyway, I gotta go. I will talk to you when I finish The Monsters We Made, Gremolinos, because it is a busy, busy day.
Brand presents The Monsters We Made by Peyton June, narrated by Justice Bolding and Susie Jackson. Production of The Monsters We Made by Peyton June, narrated by Justice Bolding and Susie Jackson. Copyright 2026.
Hello, Gremolinos. I am here. I have finished The Monsters We Made, and here is the synopsis plus thoughts. So this is told in dual perspective. Bad Creek had three different points of view. This one only has two. So we are following Claire, who lives in this specific town, and I cannot remember how to pronounce it. So it's just a little town in Nebraska that is well known for an alien invasion. Like, that's a huge thing that happened in like 1962. She basically runs for her aunt, even though Claire is just a teenager. She's like basically 18. she runs everything for her aunt because her Aunt Maeve is constantly taking care of her cousin Bree. And Claire really just lets that go because Bree has been very sick for a very long time. Oh my gosh, my battery is dying. I knew that was gonna happen. And Bree is really Maeve's focus. And so Claire's like, it's fine, I'll run everything. She, though, knows that they are not making a lot of money running this like hotel kind of tourist attraction. So she sends an anonymous video to Claire and Claire's boyfriend at the time, this footage that she has made that makes it look like Old Lucky, this well-known alien being that is supposedly the thing that appeared in 1962, and Claire has been obsessed with this. Not Claire, Lenny has been obsessed with this forever. She convinces her boyfriend at the time, I keep saying that because they are actually on a break / broken up by the time they get to Nebraska. It is so windy outside. And I have my window open because it's very nice to be cool for once. I'm gonna try and keep talking fast. Lenny has convinced him to come. They're doing their research for their paranormal podcast. And while they're doing that, he is just getting more and more fed up with everything. He's basically like, this is a hoax, why are we doing this? This is dumb. But Claire and Lenny are getting closer because there are just like odd things happening. As they're doing investigations, they're learning some strange things. Lenny learns some details that she had never known about the case. And ultimately, it is the two of them trying to solve the mystery of Old Lucky. There's also discussion of like old gods and how the town thought that there was something that was like blessing the town in a certain way that was outside of Christianity during a hard time. So that comes up, but is more folkloric. And even though it's the old gods, it's not, it may or may not be Old Lucky. You'll see as you're going through the book. Overall, it was fun. There's a lot of build up. So there's a lot of like slow going, it felt like for me. It is YA, so they're kind of doing it a bit, I think maybe a bit slower to make sure that you're catching everything, but there is a lot of build up to the reveal of everything that's been going on in this small town. It is cool. There is some very creepy body horror by the end of the book. And the plot ultimately boils down to human desire for I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. Not connection, but like the human desire to keep going, to have something constant, I'm going to say. I did enjoy it. I liked the voice actors who were doing Lenny and Claire's chapters. It is always odd to me when they have two narrators, but when they're doing alternate perspectives, the other narrator doesn't come in and do her character's voice. So like Lenny has to do Claire's voice in her sections and Claire does Lenny's voice in her sections, which is ultimately fine, except one of them said Abba instead of Abba, and it was a little weird. It is fun. It is very X-Files-y, like YA X-Files with influencers. So I feel like if you enjoy the like buzzword, like it's not Watcher Unsolved now. If you used to like the BuzzFeed Unsolved kind of stuff, I think you'd be into it. That is now on Watcher. Like if you like their stuff, I think you'd be into this. Though keep in mind it is YA. It is gay. It gets gayer as the book progresses. So that's fine. Claire is a lesbian from the moment you meet her. She is out in her small town even though that sucks. And then Lenny is on kind of a journey of discovery after her breakup. But it was interesting. The alien concept is cool. It is very creepy. The body horror, again, very creepy at the end of the book. So it was a good time. I just think it is a little bit slow going. Even though there is an investigation, some of it feels a bit slow to me, and I kind of wish like maybe some exposition could have been cut out. But overall, it was good. I enjoyed it. I would say it was akin to Bad Creek in my reading experience. Again, I don't start right, so it was fun. It got pretty deep. There are some deep discussions of grief and loss. So I do want to note that. That also is in Bad Creek, so it's kind of a carry through sort of theme. But before my battery does completely die, because it's going to, the next book in this vlog is also going to be a Libby hold, completely unrelated. Let's see if you hold on. And Grumbly knows that will be Dollface by Lindy Ryan. And there's a lot of vehicle outside. It's like a slasher kind of thing. I don't know. It sounded fun. It was in Allie Brienne Reed's kind of most recent video, one of her most recent videos. It sounded fun, so we're reading it. But I need to charge my camera, so I will talk to you probably tomorrow, maybe tonight. But I will talk to you when I have an update on Dollface, Gremolinos. Good morning, Gremolinos. Today should be slightly less busy, hopefully. I've already shuffled the tarot deck for the draw. And I have a very brief Dollface update. I did not read a ton of this last night. I instead made brownies for Krista. And then what was funny is I made her brownies and then she brought me home a McFlurry and 2 little blueberry pies. I did not eat both blueberry pies, but I did try them. I did eat the McFlurry. I had a lot of sugar yesterday. But I read a little bit while she was working. And in this we follow Jill. This is wild. So Jill is a horror writer and we get like a prequel chapter to like establish her and her sister's relationship. And also some horrifying things that happened one day when they were kids. Super creepy. It was very well done. Then we jump forward in time. Jill is married. She and her sister Kitty, or Catherine, it's spelled exactly like I spell my name. They are still very close, but the issue is that Jill had to move. So she was supposed to move to New York technically because her husband, he works for the government. He got transferred to Staten Island, but they're actually living in New Jersey. I almost said on Staten Island, which is how you say that, but you don't say on New Jersey. They're living in New Jersey. And while she's unpacking, one of the days, the president of the PTA for the school her son will be going to, her son is in 3rd grade, or will be going into 3rd grade, shows up and is like, oh my gosh, you should come to brunch. Which is kind of what sets off this entire doll face thing. Now, there have been so many references to dolls and doll things. That's just wild at this point, because technically, one of the doll face references is an MLM that's like made up for this, but I was like, oh, that's fun. There has been so there is a slasher in this who's like picking off people in the area. The slasher was creepy. The slasher scene was so good. But the issue is Jill is a horror writer who has no idea what to write about. And her agent keeps going being like, okay, this is your sophomore novel. I know it's harder. Your first book did so well. But she has no idea. She has no clue what she wants to write about. So she may become inspired by this slasher, possibly. We don't know. We really don't. But she did find out that like someone was killed. So it is interesting. I am liking it so far. I'm also wearing my Nightmare 2 shirt because Jill consistently wears like horror t-shirts when we're seeing her because she admittedly is not prepared for company, so she's always like wearing her pajamas or like her cozy around the house clothes. So I just thought I would toss this on. But let's pull this card. It is the, oh, some of these are so hard to read. Okay, this is the 3 of Wands. The 3 is up there, right there. It's just sometimes a little hard to tell. I mean, you can count the wands, but also it's a little tricky sometimes. Cups, wands. Found it. Progress, expansion, envisioning the future. Yippee. I didn't emphasize that enough. The 3 of Wands is a card of good fortune, whether in relationships, your career, or your dreams. You're in a sweet spot for moving forward with future plans and right where you need to be. When this card appears in your reading, you should take a moment to reflect on how you got to where you are now in order to look forward and decide how to progress. Perhaps use this time to consider any upcoming obstacles that may lie ahead. This gives you time to prepare. This card encourages the broadening of your horizons as well as self-exploration to promote development in your creative journey. Remember that communication can play an important role when executing plans, so don't let that slip away in your excitement. The reverse is you're stuck in your comfort zone, and the model for this is Orrin Colwell, he, him. So I'll show you the card again. Lovely use of pink triangle. If you don't know the history of the pink triangle, I encourage you to look it up. I need to go and start my day. I actually am leaving work a little bit early today for something, so I had to get in pretty early and I have to come in super early tomorrow, but I have to go. So I will talk to you Gremolinos when I have a doll face update. I am going to try and read during my lunch break, so hopefully I'll have something for you. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Hello Gremolinos. I am going to try not to talk super quickly, but it is the end of the workday. Well, with my weird hour thing. So I'm about to leave. People are mowing. It is very loud outside, but I have my window open because it's actually been very nice the past couple of days. So I'm leaving it open. I have finished Dollface. Ta-da! I read a ton during lunch and I did get a chance to read like a little tiny bit. Like before, my schedule was so weird today because I came in so early. So I did get to read before my actual, it's like a whole weird thing. I'm sure you understand if you have a job where you like occasionally have downtime, but also I technically normally wouldn't even be on the clock. But yeah, so I was able to finish it. I really enjoyed it. Now, some of the scenes are so creepy. So we actually get the point of view of the person going about doing terrible deeds, because I don't want to tell you exactly how that works because they're terrible deeds. Yes, they are not always deaths, but they're frightening. They are so creepy, and like those scenes are so eerie, like so like, and they're like gory, like they are remarkably creepy. We are still following Jill, who has writer's block, but she is now very fixated on like finding out who is doing this horrible stuff to the PTA moms. She's like, it has to be someone who like knows enough to like be able to do all these things, like knows where these women are gonna be, like knows when they can get to them. And that's creepy, but she becomes very fixated, and her husband's also kind of like, oh, when you're working on a book, you also kind of do this where you like fixate on other things, and maybe just like be careful. But things get horrifying. Also, Halloween plays a pretty big part in this, like the holiday, not the movie, because she gets drafted kind of into the PTA, and part of that is she's being asked to help a lot with Boogie Bash, which is the big like pre-Halloween party at the school. So it's not on Halloween night because they want kids to be able to trick or treat, but it's like a pre-Halloween thing. They do explain that to you, like it's technically before Halloween, but it's all very Halloween themed, and the discussions of that are going on. It is so creepy, and like some of it is guessable. Like I would say that you'll probably, there's an intentional misdirect that they try and like shove in there for you, where like I was reading it and I was like, that doesn't make sense. So also no, but like I could kind of see it, I guess, if you're the person who's involved. Like Jill makes a choice, like thinks something, and I was like, that's not correct. But overall, very good. It does feel like you're not allowed. I was afraid I was gonna cough more, but I didn't drink water. The story does seem to assume you might figure out who the person is that's doing all of this, but there's something else that happens before the book ends where I was like, wait, what? So there was like a twisty thing that I was not anticipating. So even if you think it's guessable, keep going. But the costumes, like there are Halloween costumes. There's a huge focus on like, so Dollface being a cosmetic company in this does tie into the plot some, because there is a lot of focus on cosmetics and women's faces and like your appearance as a woman and like who you are and your flaws and all of that. So that was very interesting. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I definitely enjoyed it. It's a quick read. Like it was very easy to get through it very quickly. I also did learn a word though. So suff. What are we doing? Okay. I don't know what they're doing. Suff. Or it said there were two pronunciations. I remember stuff, but it was like moaning wind, which I had never read anywhere. Like I was like, well, that's how you would say it, and it was like the sound of the wind. So I was like, okay, wind sound. But like I actually looked up the definition because I was like, well, what is it? Like actually, like because context clues were only making me think like wind sounds, but it means moaning wind, like eerie moaning wind sounds, like the sighing and moaning of wind. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I had no idea. So that was fun. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It's a perfect Halloween read, so I would recommend it for the fall. It's been very fall feeling out, so it was perfect. Also, yes, I don't know, that's not even a lawnmower anymore. Someone sounds like they are just like destroying their lawn with power tools. I don't know anymore. But it was very good. The scenes with the seriously? With the bad person, this is my life during work sometimes. I'm just getting like the evil being. They're so creepy. The things they do are so creepy because not all the things are like an actual kill, which is so creepy. But it was very fun. I enjoyed it immensely. Also, I thought of something that I forgot to tell you. This is so, I want this person to stop, like right now. It's gonna bug me. I won't be in this room soon for much longer. I'm very sorry that you have to listen to this, but also I have to listen to it. I just realized that the Monsters We Made would work very well for the Full Moon Readathon that Jan Agaton is hosting this year. I normally try and do the Full Moon Readathon, but we have too much going on during the dates that she announced it's happening, so I'm not gonna try. Like I can't, because I don't really have time to get a TBR together, which I normally could, but like we have a lot going on. There's just like too much going on, and especially during that window of time we have stuff, like actual like stuff is planned that would mean I lose most of the like days for reading. Like I won't be able to read those days, so I was like, I can't, sorry. And I don't want to bump it to a different week. Like it's just not, I can't do it. But the Monsters We Made would be a good pick if you can find a way to fit it in, because it does talk about like a cryptid podcast and there's like the whole alien element, but it's like an urban legendy sort of thing. But yeah, I meant to include that and I didn't. Dollface though, very fun time. Very glad that Allie recommended it. So yeah. Oh, next book. I actually have this next to me because I threw it in my office a couple days ago. The next book I'm going to be reading is We Could Be Rats, which is a complete departure. All I know is that this is very heavy subject matter wise. Please stop making noise. It's so loud. Subject matter wise. So it is Emily Austen. This is the only Emily Austen book I have not read yet. I have not read the poetry collection. I don't know that I will. I used to be more into poetry, but recently I haven't really felt like drawn to want to read any. So I don't know that I'll get to that one anytime soon, but this is the last actual like fiction novel I have not read. So this is the next one we're reading, by we, I mean me, but this is the next book. I don't know that I'll get much reading done tonight. But who knows. So yeah, that'll be the next one. I told you this one's kind of all over the place because I have this and then the other stuff I have is completely different. Like all is a departure. But yeah, but I would recommend Dollface. It was fun. But I need to go. So I will talk to you probably not until tomorrow. And it will hopefully be quieter. Much quieter. So loud. All right. Talk to you tomorrow, Grumblinos. Good morning, Grumblinos. I've done absolutely no reading, and yet I am still here to say hi. Also, I'm wearing my free Duncan shirt from, I think it was Mother's Day weekend. I also think my camera might be a little crooked. Unintentionally. I think I hit the tripod. So I'm very sorry. I'll deal with that later. I'm drinking not Dunkin' coffee. This is Joffrey's combined with Bones coffee. Mostly because I'm trying to stretch the cold brew I make, and Krista bought me some canned coffee. And they're very dairy heavy, the canned ones. So I like adding other coffee to them to make them less dairy focused. So yeah, I've done no reading. So the reason behind that is we were very busy yesterday, but I am not really going to get into the ins and outs of that right now. Just know this vlog is going to have a random surprise, sort of. You'll see. You'll just be along for the journey the rest of this week, into next week, for sure, because I am not going to, be able to finish all of my books this week, so we're just gonna take this vlog into next week, which is fine. Brain. But, yeah, we were out pretty late last night. We actually had to drive kind of like an hour and a half away, and we brought Kira with us. Now you might be saying, but you have Bruni. Bruni doesn't actually like being in the car. And Kira gets very upset if we are like going somewhere and we don't bring her with us, especially if it's a long period of time. And since she could come with us, we loaded her up and brought her along. And she had fun, where we went, and then she was really tired on the ride home. But we were exhausted, and we actually wound up picking up dinner at literally like 8 o'clock. We just like drove through and got stuff. Krista got Arby's. I got Taco Bell with no lettuce. Yeah, we're avoiding lettuce for the rest of the summer. I don't even care if we get an all clear from anyone. I'm not eating lettuce, for a very long time. But yeah, so that was yesterday. Really, like, I left work the hour early. We had to drive, and it was just like a lot of driving, a lot of stuff. So we were just out like the entire evening. But even though I have no book update, I do have a tarot pull. I've already shuffled. The deck is prepped. I will hold it. And ta-da! And you'll get to see it in a sec. It's the Page of Swords, which kind of matches my shirt. Let's see if it'll focus. Come on. Come on. I don't know why sometimes it focuses right away and other times it's like, nah. Oh, kind of. There we go. Page of Swords. Also, please excuse my nose if I make like a sniffling sound. My nose is so runny. It's definitely allergies. Like, it's just not going away. This whole like runny nose thing. It's really annoying. Oh, that is cups. Wow. I had swords. Then I flipped too far. Eep. There we go. I'm trying. My hand is like not doing what it wants to do today. 10. Page. Curious, idealistic, enthusiastic. The Page of Swords represents a young, idealistic mind that's brimming with excitement and eagerness to learn, explore, and discover new things. Curiosity overcomes the Page of Swords, but it's often accompanied by stubbornness and a tendency to become detached from reality. Remember, it can be exciting to jump in, but you're a novice. Be careful not to ignore the possibility of trouble or the challenges that lie ahead. Taking risks and following the heart are things the Page of Swords has mastered, but that doesn't mean they always succeed. Keep that beginner's mindset to maintain optimism and enthusiasm, but try not to stray too far from the realistic. Remain present and be wary of making hasty decisions. You may have difficulty following through. This is the reverse. On your new ideas, or are keeping these ideas to yourself for fear of rejection. Remember that you are a novice and it's okay not to know everything you're learning. This is Minsu Chen, they, them, for the model. So there you go. That is the card. But yeah, so the plan is to read We Could Be Rats throughout the course of the day. Really, I have some time before work, and then I will read during my lunch break, and it's not very long. I can normally get through Emily Austen pretty quickly, and this one is a lot shorter looking than most of them. We'll just see. But the goal is to try and finish it between before work and lunch, is the hope. Because this evening, I have a dinner. And by I have a dinner, I mean Krista and I have a dinner with her parents. And we'll just see how that goes. We're going to the hibachi place, so it's very loud. And also still not eating lettuce. They give you a salad with your meal, and I was like, we have to tell them no salad, because I literally don't trust lettuce from anywhere right now. So yeah, that is that. I will update you when I have an update. Even if I don't finish We Could Be Rats, I'll give you some kind of reading update, just so you have one. And yeah, also I gotta adjust my tripod, because I really think I hit one of the legs yesterday when I was putting it away. Because I do feel like you're a little tilted. But I will talk to you later today, Gremolinos. Hello, Gremolinos. This is not a real update. This is just to show you that I have Dunkin' and my Dunkin' shirt. Krista brought this home for lunch. She grabbed coffees on the way. Sorry, my nose is driving me crazy. Whew. But it's cold brew with 2 pumps of the peanut butter syrup. They finally have it back in stock. Our store literally had it for like 2 days and then completely ran out, so they must have rushed it. But I just wanted to show you that I had Dunkin' while wearing my Dunkin' shirt. It felt very fun. All right, I need to go though. I need to eat food and stuff, but I just wanted to show you. So I will talk to you later, Gremolinos, when I actually have a book update. Hello, Gremolinos. It is the end of my workday, and I did manage to finish We Could Be Rats, which is oddly very different than what I expected. Okay, so going into this, what does the synopsis say? Oh, the synopsis is so interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I wanted to skim the synopsis. So a majority of this is presented in like, I'm gonna say pseudo letter format, because the beginning of this is set up as presumably letters that Sigrid is writing before she ends her life. And it's a series of sort of reminiscences, then also like directions to her sister. I have to look at her name because they call her Marg a lot. It's technically Margit, but they call her Margit, like just Marg. And there's like notes in there saying like, could you edit this for me? But as you're reading it, everything is supposed to sort of be a end of life letter, but a lot of it really does read like diary entries or reminiscences, and it's not really presented to a specific person. It'll then sort of wander into like, there are a handful of letters written to specific people. There are sort of things that are like, I wonder who's reading this. Why are you reading this? Are you reading this? Did someone read this? Who found this? Like just sort of like general thoughts on life. Sigrid talks about her best friend Greta, her life, but as you're following it, I don't want to say too much, because while this is literary fiction, there are oddly sort of reveals that are occurring that if I tell you now, it'll kind of ruin the book. So the concept of this, according to the synopsis, is that this is the story of 2 sisters. Now, you may think when you start this that while the 2 sisters are not, the concept is the 2 sisters are not close, but in what she is writing, Sigrid is saying like, Marg, can you edit this? Marg, could you write this? Maybe you could just write this for me like you used to do my homework. And there is that sort of like discussion back and forth seemingly in the first section. There are technically 3 parts of the book. The first section is the sort of letters. Then the second section is technically established as sort of a continuation of the letters, but is handled completely differently. And again, that's the part I can't really go into detail with. And then there is a third section that is technically a diary. So they're all sort of, oh gosh, what is that word? Oh, it is lost to me right now. My brain has been so fried today. I've had so much going on. I did manage to read a lot of this before work and then a hunk during lunch. So like that's how I was able to finish it. But solely because I had time before work and I had time during lunch. It's been a very busy day. But oh my gosh, what is that word? Everyone watching this is probably like, Catherine, it's this. Epistolary, technically. But I feel like if you've read other Emily Austen books, you'll notice that it's written in a very similar way to those. So I don't know, if you don't like epistolary novels, I don't think this would really read that way to you. There are a handful of spots that are set up in a more letter-like format, but really it's kind of written sort of the stream of consciousness-esque, I would say. I very much enjoyed this, and you might think, based on the fact that these are letters that someone is writing in seemingly advance of the end of their life, that this would be more depressing, but oddly it's not. Though everyone that exists in this book is dealing with a lot of emotional and psychological turmoil for a variety of reasons. This was very well done. This was very interesting to get through because unlike other Emily Austen things, we are actually getting the points of view of two characters. And I weirdly, again, there are sort of twists and turns as you're reading this where you'll be like, wait, what? And that was very surprising to me. So this was interesting, and I would say don't worry about these being basically I've decided to end my life letters, because while technically it is that, it doesn't fully read that way. It does read more like Emily Austen's other work, and you can kind of separate out what you're being presented as just sort of literary fiction. So it's doable. If you've read other Emily Austen, I think you'll be okay. Though you do need to be in a good headspace because this person is discussing, well, if I decide to end it now, this, like, what will happen? Who will this affect? A lot of like, if this is done, maybe don't do this. Like, there's a lot going on in this, but it was very, very good. I did really enjoy this, and I was surprised because I was worried I wouldn't like this as much as some of the other ones, but I actually may have liked this one the most, just because the two sisters are very prominent in this, and it was very interesting to follow. Now, moving on to the next book, because I can't really summarize this anymore for you without spoiling a lot of stuff. So just know it was interesting. Hello, loud motorcycle. Now very quickly, because I do have to get out the door, we have stuff going on tonight that I have to be upbeat for. So yes, it's fine. I just have to be very on. And I'm not particularly looking forward to having to do that, but it's fine. It's fine. I have to. Anyway, this is Lavender House by Lev Ak Rosin. I believe that's how you say all of this. He is the author of The Disaster Gay Detective Agency. That is his newest book, but this is his pre-existing mystery series that is set in 1952 and follows Evander Mills, who is a detective who has been fired from the San Francisco Police Department after a raid on a gay bar. I am very intrigued. Also, this cover is very cool. There are rabbits on it. It's lavender. Lavender is a very gay color. Lavender menace. It's a whole thing. But like, this cover is incredible. I love this cover. This is beautiful. So I'm very intrigued. I like a mystery novel, so I'm curious to see how this one goes. I really liked Disaster Gay Detective Agency, but that was more campy, and I anticipate this being more serious. So this next book I'm reading, I will probably be slowly reading it over the course of the weekend. Also, is it? Yeah, it's just mystery. My brain went a little haywire for a sec. But yeah, so I'm very, very intrigued to read that. And then, yeah. I also have other books. I have so many holds coming in from the library. I had another Libby hold come in. It won't be in this vlog. None of these other, like, any holds I'm getting at this point won't be in this vlog, but like, I had a hold come in on Libby today that I had to like immediately borrow because I consistently don't see the notification and I forget to borrow it and then I get skipped. And then I have a ton of random requests that are like slowly coming in. Humorously, I requested the August Literally Dead book club pick, and as anticipated, that one has actually arrived at my library before the Paul Tremblay book. Yeah, Paul Tremblay, yes. The something, it's not Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because that is the actual book, that Blade Runner is inspired by. I forget what it is. It's something Dream of Electric Sheep, but I am still waiting. I'm number 1 on the list, but I am still waiting for that whole to come in. So we'll see. I may not even be reading that until August at this point, but it's fine. I'll just watch the live show later. I had a sneaking suspicion I would run into that issue just because my library didn't have that many copies. Like, my whole library system didn't. So we shall see when it comes in. I am still waiting for, like, Bone of My Bone by Joanna Van Veen, I think is her name. That I'm still waiting for, and I'm waiting for something else. But yeah, just some books are taking longer than others because there's not a lot of copies. So it is what it is. I wanted to get them through the library, and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, that is it for now. I do need to go. So I will talk to you sometime over the weekend. Probably tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, so stuff. You'll see stuff. There's just going to be a lot of chaotic stuff for the next few clips. Because stuff is going on. But I'll have book updates. I will have other updates, many things. I have to go Grummelino's though, because I'm going to make us late, and then I'll be in even more trouble than if I am not a peppy, happy person. Even though I'm very tired. Anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow at some point in Grummelino's. Hello, Grummelino's. We are in the car, taking a drive. We'll be in the car for another, like, hour. We've already been in the car for, like, 20 minutes. We're in the car. We're wearing matching shirts. Chris's is black, but they say Canine Rehab and Rescue and Rehab, because I couldn't remember. But she's in a very nice black shirt. And we have coffees. This is cold brew with peanut butter swirl from Dunkin'. And Krista got the peanut butter Dunkin' latte, and she really likes the peanut butter coffee. So please know that we'll either run out again before the drinks have been discontinued,
or they'll just cancel it.
Or they'll just get rid of them forever.
And we'll never see it again.
Yeah, and
that's what happens whenever I like coffee.
Yeah, every time she likes something at Dunkin', they're like, no, we're not bringing that back. Sorry. Like, you really liked the Magic Potion Halloween coffee, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're never doing that coffee again. Sorry. We know people enjoyed it, and they're just not, it's never coming back. But we're driving because, okay, so this is the thing I vaguely alluded to. We're picking someone up that has 4 legs. So the day I left work early, we actually took Kira and drove all the way out to, yeah, I forget exactly the town, but we went to this specific canine rescue and rehab place in New York. They're still in, like, upstate New York. So we took her, and she met a puppy that they got from Oklahoma.
Rescued from being killed in a kill shelter in Oklahoma. She was gonna get killed one day after they swooped in and rescued her.
Yes. So Kira met her and they got along, and so we are picking up Charlie today. We named her Charlie. Her original name was Velma, because they named all the puppies after Scooby-Doo characters, kind of.
I was gonna say.
2 of them had, yeah, 2 of them had weird names that we don't know what Scooby-Doo thing they were from.
Yeah, tell us. Wanda and Elsa.
And we were like, okay. But the one that we met and that we're picking up was Velma, is now Charlie Chloe. We always do middle name of other dog. Like, Kira's name is Kira Lily. Bruni's the only one that doesn't get that because we didn't have any boy dogs.
Chloe was Chloe Bell.
Yes. So, like, previous. Wow. Okay, Ontario, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're headed there. I though need to turn the AC back on because I turned it off so it wouldn't be as loud. But it's getting really hot in here. But next clip you'll see will probably be a puppy in my lap or in a bag. And we bought like a little carrier bag.
In a bag.
It's a carrier bag. That's what it says.
In a puppy Bjorn.
Yeah, it's a thing. It looks like a backpack but backwards with like a hole.
It sounds like we're putting in a plastic bag.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We will see you when we have Charlie, which was kind of unplanned. Krista showed me a photo. She's been showing me puppy photos for a few weeks, and I actually agreed to see this one. So yes, we are headed, and it's getting very hot. So we'll see you when we have a puppy in the car.
And this is Charlie. We couldn't film her in the car because she got a little car sick.
But we think they're trying to be nice and feed her her lunch before we picked her up, and she was not a fan of having food in her tummy while she's in the car.
We're socializing her to the sounds of her new home.
Yes.
So we're just sitting outside so she can get used to cars and plates and loud music.
But yeah, so this is Charlie. Her ears may at some point pop up. We're not quite sure.
She may be huge.
We also have no idea what she is. Her mom looked so tiny. Like the tiniest dog.
She's already like a fourth of the size of her mom.
Yeah. And she's only like 2 months old. So she's big. She looked really tiny next to Kira, but not as tiny as she is in real life. But yeah, so we're just in the yard.
If you have any idea what to call the color of her coat, let us know.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know how the camera kind of picks it up. She's like silvery tan and white. Hey, she's met Kira already, but we're gonna take her in the backyard to see the other pup soon.
Yeah, we're just bringing her out here to
and I'll let her take care of her business.
And get to know the neighborhood.
Oh, sorry.
Sitting in the shade.
My nose is so stuffy, y'all. Yeah, so she's just chilling, hanging out. But yeah, so that's Charlie. I'm gonna stop filming because we gotta take her in soon.
Her ears are huge.
Yeah, her ears are very big.
She's gonna grow to be the size of her ears, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, she may be gigantic. They were like, oh, she'll be tiny. And you not tiny.
You know who else they told us that about?
Bruni.
You know what Bruni's not?
Tiny. Alright, say goodbye to the Gremolinos, Charlie. Good morning, Gremolinos. It is the loudest Monday on record at this house. They're doing trash pickup wildly noisily. I don't know how it's louder than normal, but if you hear trucks, it's because they have come by, I swear to you, every 5 minutes. Now they do trash and recycling, but like everything is coming by and it is very loud. And also there have been like construction equipment going by, like so many things have been going on. Hi, you have not really seen me. You have seen Charlie, who I will briefly discuss. She is hopefully napping. So Krista and I did have to go back to work today. Krista was able to finagle a little bit of like time off. It's not exactly time off, it's a whole thing. But she is coming home in the afternoon today so she can like spend time with Charlie and hang out with her while I'm still working. But then she couldn't do that again until Wednesday. So Charlie is from a rescue an hour and a half away. So Krista, I mentioned this in the car, has been showing me puppy photos for a while. She's just been showing me them and I have not really wanted to go meet a puppy, go see a puppy. Also, some of the puppies that she was showing me were very far away or at, like we couldn't verify if the rescue was actually a legitimate rescue. One of them was not, because we did, like I agreed to go to one a little bit ago. We like drove out there and it was just someone's house. And I was like, no, like the two of us got a horrible vibe. It was very weird. And we just left. And so this one, actual rescue, brand new-ish. They're called Canine Rescue and Rehab. Can I remember exactly where they are? Not exactly. They're between Cicero and Verona, if you live in New York State and know any of those things. So we drove and met her with Kira and they got along pretty well. Kira has slightly more puppy boundaries than Chloe did. Kira just like has, like doesn't want Charlie in her space sometimes. She's been good overall. She just is a bit more like, don't touch me right now. Bruni doesn't care. So, oddly, we like mentioned this to Krista's parents and they're like, oh, Bruni was totally fine. And I was like, literally Bruni has been in the house for a number of puppies. Like he is older. Like Chloe came into the house when Bruni was already at our old house. So like he has met every single puppy and every single kitten. So like he's very chill. He kind of like will watch from afar and then determine if he needs to be like involved. And then he's mostly just been laying and like staring at her, and then he's monitoring her crate to see if she's okay. She is covered so they can't see her, but they can hear her. But yes, so Charlie is, so she's a mutt. We have no idea what she is. The rescue also has no idea what she is because the mom is very tiny and has like, I'm gonna do this, like stick-uppy bunny ears. Like her ears look like bunny ears. but they don't know what she is. They have no idea. They don't know who the dad is at all. The dad was not found with her, which makes sense. She was a stray in Oklahoma is what they told us, and she actually gave birth not at a facility. Like, they found her and her puppies in Oklahoma. A shelter in Oklahoma had her. They literally were going to just put all of them down, and the rescue in New York found out and like swooped in and scooped them up. And also another female dog who had a litter of one puppy or had one surviving puppy, they're not sure. But Charlie's mom had a litter. They were all very random, which is why no one knows what they are. One was silver, which is typically only associated with staffies, though some other dogs are silver, but it's more like a staffy thing. I'm taking a sip of my coffee, which is way too strong because I accidentally steeped my coffee, because it would be steeping, it was in water, for many days. Very strong, it's fine. So we, like, the litter was very, like, all over the place. Like, some of them are brown and white, some of them, like the one was silver, like they were all over the place, size-wise and color-wise, but they are definitely all the same litter. And so Charlie was originally Velma. I think I already told you that in a previous clip, but she was the runt, and they said that she hadn't been claimed. She was the only puppy they had left. She had just like been there. Everyone was kind of like picking up their puppies pretty quickly. And so Krista was like, do you want to see her? And she showed me a photo, and I was like, well, we can go, but we should take Kira, because Kira hadn't met a puppy. So we took her for like a meet and greet, and they did fine. They were fine. Again, Kira was a little boundary-y, like if Charlie got too close, like behind her. But she didn't, she just like would bark and then walk away. And it was fine. They did fine. Even the person at the facility was like watching them, and she was like, no, I like am a dog behavioralist. Everything is fine. They're fine. So again, everything has been fine. But Charlie is something, we don't know. So I can't tell you what she is, just she's a mutt. She also doesn't bark yet, or may bark at all. We don't know. She grunts and she sings. Like, her whine is like singing. So literally the first night we have a little crate for her so she can sleep, because puppy, like, you cannot have her loose while you're asleep because she could get into something. And there are people who have different methodologies for this, but like, we don't have like a completely nothing is in it room that we can be in with her. So it's safer for her to be in a smaller space. And they did say she was sleeping in a crate at the facility. So she was in a crate with the other puppies at the rescue. So they're like, it's fine. She will be fine in a crate. And she is, but when she doesn't want to be in it anymore, or she needs to go, she sings. So we were like, I literally looked at Krista and I was like, is she a Mogwai? Like, what is going on? And if you don't know, Mogwais are what Gizmo is in Gremlins. He sings. So I have decided that she's going to be Charlie the Muttgwai, because we don't know what she is, but she doesn't bark and she sings. So yeah, also her ears may pop up. Right now they're not, but they may pop up, and her fur is a very complicated coloring. She definitely has white on her, but the tan is also silvery. So it's like two different colors, and her eyes are like hazily, but also like goldeny. We don't really know anything except that she is a puppy and she's about 2 months old. She is going to our vet next week, so he'll look her over and stuff. She's already been spayed and gotten some shots, and she can't really leave the property unless she's being held right now, just because she hasn't had all of her shots. But that's all I can really tell you. She would prefer to just like be out all the time, and so she's been eating her puppy food, but not like super quickly. Like, she gets very easily distracted, and she likes to drink water outside. Like, we put a bowl outside because they had bowls outside at the rescue, and she loves to drink outside, but she's not a big fan of drinking inside, which is very interesting. But yeah, so that is Charlie, and that's what we did this weekend. She's been good. She was in the crate for about 45 minutes while we weren't home on Sunday, because we had like made plans to get food with her parents. We got brunch. So Charlie was in for that, and she was fine, and she's been fine overnight. We've kept her out until we like go to bed, and then we just like put her in if we're eating, because we don't want to try and eat with her out, because we won't really have hands to like keep her from getting into stuff. So yeah, but that is that. But that does mean I haven't really read a lot. I did start Lavender House. I'm gonna try and read more today. I would like to finish this today, but I did start this. We have met, does he use his full name? Yeah, so we've met Evander Mills, who goes by Andy. He was, this is in 1952 in San Francisco. He was a detective in the San Francisco Police Department, but he was caught in a raid at a gay bar, and this is the 50s, so he was fired. And a woman found him at a bar. Her name is Pearl. Yes, Pearl. I believe it's Pearl. Pretty sure it's Pearl. Yeah, it's Pearl. And she was like, oh, I found out about you. I need your help. And he's like, what, how? And she was like, no, I just like know who you are. I know what happened. My wife, Irene, has died, and I think it was a murder. And while technically legally they could not be married, we then learn that Lavender House is the house owned by this very famous soap manufacturing family, and Irene was the head of that family, and she and Pearl basically raised a son together from Irene's like previous partner, like husband. And then the son is also gay and his boyfriend lives in, but the son has a fake wife for appearances, and her girlfriend right now is also living with them off and on. The staff may or may not be of the Lavender persuasion, and they only trust Andy to look into this because he's gay. So that's where I am so far. He isn't sure if it's murder or not. I'm very sure it's going to be murder, but I am enjoying it so far. It's just with Puppy, I have not really read a lot. I also have tarot stuff to pull up. So I did already pull a card, and it is the Star. I have no idea. I've never pulled this one before. I love the art on these cards. I know the Star is Arcana. I believe Major Arcana. Oh my goodness. Maybe, is that 17? I think that says 17. 17? Hope, renewal, happiness. The star is a beautiful and shining glimmer of hope high in the sky, and right now you are floating up there right beside it. Everything is amazing. You may be feeling inspired and blessed by the universe, connected with yourself and everything around you. That happy-go-lucky feeling you're experiencing is just the beginning. Good health, mental stability, and calming energy are abundant, and your endeavors are successful, putting you in the best mood possible. Allow yourself to dream big and reach for the stars around you at this time. Magic surrounds you, and so does the loving embrace of the universe. The star also brings a sense of renewal to you, stripping away all the unneeded and negative layers from your being and encouraging self-love, self-acceptance, and growth. Starting deep down in your core, the transformation from the old you to the new you is happening, and everything is how it needs to be right now. There will always be ups and downs in life, so enjoy these moments while they're in full swing. The reverse is basically just you are experiencing difficult situations, and you are feeling very negative, just so you know, since I don't really do reverses. And then Rylan M, she, her is the model. There you go. Ta-da! If it'll focus. I know you already saw it. It may not focus again. It loves to only focus once. There we go. Alright, I need to go though, because it is a very busy day. Mondays are always very busy at my work. We have like a meeting pretty early in the morning, and then I also have stuff I have to do, so I need to go. But I wanted to give you some kind of update on everything that was going on, because I kind of did, but not really. And yeah, that is the day. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Anything else that pops up, I will try and let you know. Really, I just need to finish this book, because I wanted to get to the audiobook that I grabbed because I couldn't get it through the library, and I was hoping to do that in this vlog. We shall see. But I will talk to you later, Gremolinos, about any updates on Lavender House. Hello, Gremolinos. It is a little bit after work. I finally have time to update you, but I finished Lavender House, and this gets wild. I will say I did, I think, say someone's mother incorrectly. So to recap, the character specifically that we're following is Andy, the investigator, and then there's the deceased, Irene, her wife, Pearl, their son, Henry, his fake wife, Margot, then his actual boyfriend who pretends to be his social secretary, or his office secretary, I think social secretary actually, Cliff, and then there's Elsie, right? It's Elsie, not Elsa. Elsie, I think it's Elsie. Pretty sure it's Elsie. Her name is near the back of the book. Yeah, Elsie. Elsie, who is Margot's girlfriend, sometimes lives at the house, sometimes doesn't. And then Margot's mother, Alice, is living at the house. I think I said it was like Irene or Pearl's mother, but it's Margot's mother. And I only say this so you like kind of understand the dynamics going into this book. So he has been brought in to investigate the case. Now, Pearl brings Andy in and is very much like, I want you to investigate, but if it's not a murder, that's fine. I will still pay you, but I need to know like what happened, because she is desperately in love with Irene and she can do very little really, because she is by law not her wife, so she can't like get information, she can't force the police to do anything, but she thinks something happened. During the course of his investigation, pretty early on, Andy figures out that it was a murder, and he proceeds from there to determine what happened. Now that does involve a bit of luck, because he has to communicate with like the coroner's office, other police departments. He's doing a lot of investigating, and thankfully, one, because 1952, he is able to speak with various people who don't know that he has been fired yet, so that helps. But there are kind people in certain offices who are willing to work with him, regardless of the fact that he has been fired for his for being caught up in that riot, raid, in the raid. As the story evolves, we're getting a lot of details on Soap. There's the thought that maybe it was competitors, someone from the outside, but ultimately this is a story where it's gonna be someone from the inside, because people don't really like it when it's someone who's not like in the vicinity of the crime. That is actually a trope in murder mysteries. I'm gonna put this down so I can use both hands, but in murder mysteries, I think I brought this up before, audiences typically do not like when it's not an established character who is the villain. And that is, there are some murder mysteries and some mysteries in general where that does happen, but back when mysteries were getting their start, those didn't really take off. People were actually very infuriated by them because they couldn't solve it or play along with the detective. And so it is typically in well-selling mysteries, not all the time, but typically, especially in cozy mysteries or mystery series, it's someone you've met. So as the story evolves, you and Andy are pretty much kind of sticking to that. It's probably someone in the house, even though he's been told to look outside. I will not spoil any of this for you, but there are some creepy things. Something gets hidden in a bar of soap to scare someone off. It's just some creepy stuff that occurs while everything is going on. But overall, it was a very fun time. I do think that Rosen is very good at establishing like a core group of queer characters who are all very connected. This was written before Disaster Gate Detective Agency, and I can actually see the establishing of characters as a family in this and it carrying over into that book, with that being a more campy, silly sort of collection of friends. Of course, there's a motorcycle. Of course. Really? You need to be out here right now? Whatever. So I do think this was handled very well. Like, the setup of the characters is done very well. The mystery is interesting. There are some twists, there are some turns, there are some creepy little clues. We also get some insight into sort of these after, that's not what they would be called, into these establishments. I almost called them after hours events. Don't ask me why. I think I'm a little tired. Actually, I know I'm a little tired. But these establishments, because they are technically running above, like, they technically can get raided, but also like shouldn't get raided. The cops basically are looking for a reason to shut them down, but they are trying to really like act above board, like serve drinks. There are no specific events that could cite them as like a gay institution, but the cops still come in to mess with them. But it was really fun. Like, it was a good mystery to follow. There is some stuff that just sucks because this is 1952. Also, crap like this still happens, which is horrible. But Andy does experience violence at the hands of police for legitimately just the reason that they know he's gay now. And that is just very upsetting. Especially as they're describing what's happening. He describes what's happening to him. We learn what has happened to him after. But Andy is a recurring character, so ultimately he will be okay, but it is pretty rough. There are discussions of identity and family and feeling comfortable or not comfortable depending, which again does make sense. It's 1952. They also have a discussion about culture shifts around that time, because Andy does say like it was more accepted and now suddenly it's not, and there are discussions of like the blacklists and the sort of communist scare that then kind of whole encompassed communism, anti-gay beliefs. It was like the Lavender Scare and the Red Scare were kind of all occurring around the same time. So it is interesting. There's a discussion of that history there. So I would read more of this series for sure. There are a few books. I don't think they'd be listed in here yet. No, they're not listed in here yet, but I do know that there are more. I almost wish I had read this in August, and I wonder if this will happen for other ones. And I know that technically this isn't the cover, but there's faux water damage throughout the book, and the August cover prompt is water. There's actually a little, or not water, is like damage or destruction on the book, like faux damage. There's actually like a watermark secretly on the cover right there. It's really hard to see, but that like carries over throughout the book, which is interesting. And I don't know if the other books do that. I haven't figured out what I'm doing for that prompt yet, by the way. But I was like, oh, that could have worked. I probably would have stretched it actually, because there is a teeny bit of faux damage on this cover, primarily on the front. Also, there are bunnies all over the cover. The bunny stuff, there's some bunny stuff and it's a little sad. Just keep that in mind. But there are bunnies on the cover, so it's a very like Kayla cover. So it would have been good. It would have been a good choice, but oh well, I read it too early. But yeah, so I think that's it for this clip. I do plan to listen to the audiobook tomorrow during work, probably off and on. It's gonna be a little goofy just because Krista does have a court throughout the day, so she can only maybe come home around noon for lunch and help me with some stuff. But yeah, we'll just see how that goes. I think it'll be fine. It'll just be a little tricky because I'll have to do more stuff, and like today she got to come home and she like took Charlie and let her run around in the yard for a little while, and I won't be able to do that. We're thinking of having her in like a little playpen in the living room. It's too hot up here, so I don't know. Yeah, they wouldn't have been in any video, maybe. I don't think so. So at one point ages ago, no, they wouldn't be, that was too long ago, the last time there were puppies, I was able to keep a playpen in my office. One, there's more stuff in my office than there was previously, because that was almost 5 years ago. There was a playpen I could set up in here, but also it is too hot in my office for a puppy. My office runs far hotter than the rest of, well, than the downstairs where all the dogs are anyway, and the downstairs has the AC unit, so I can turn that on periodically to like keep everyone cool, but I can't do that up here as there is no AC unit in my window. So it's better for her to be downstairs. I'm gonna see if the playpen will work. She's been good about not having accidents in her crate, but that is different than a playpen. But you don't know until you try. So like she could be fine, she could not do anything. She could also make a huge mess, who knows. So we're gonna see what we're gonna do tomorrow. We haven't 100% decided, but I feel like maybe if she's out a little help, I don't know. But that's the clip for now. Next book will be, and I can't show it to you because my iPad is charging, but it will be Make Me Better by Sarah Gailey. I do have to listen to it on audio. I tried so hard to get it from my library in any capacity. They only had one, there are technically 2 physical copies, only book, not digital, in the library system for like the North Country Library System, something like that. There are only 2 copies. The 2 copies that exist are a ways from my house, and they cannot be requested for transfer. Like I can't request that they be sent to my library. I have tried numerous times. I've been trying since the book came out and showed up in the system, and I can't request them. That won't work. So literally I just like waited out. I have given up at this point. They're not allowing me to request them. My library can't get a hold of them. I'm not driving to those libraries to go get the physical book. I burned an audiobook credit and I got the audiobook because I really wanted to read the book. So that will be tomorrow, possibly into Wednesday. I don't think it's very long, so I think I can finish it tomorrow, but this clip has been longer than I anticipated. I'm gonna go. It is hot up here. I need to get out of this room. So I will talk to you tomorrow morning for the tarot pull and then audiobook. See you then, Grimly Nose. Good morning, Grimly Nose. I am shuffling the deck I'm tired. I knew I was gonna be tired. Charlie actually only got up twice. She got up at 2:30 and again at 6:30, and I think she would have gone back to sleep until the alarm that was like 7:30, 7:45. But Bruni saw me moving around and he started walking right next to her crate and she was like, we're up now. But it's fine. We took her out again after the alarm. And we've also figured out that she prefers her food to have water in it, which she's a little puppy teeth and they're bothering her, so makes sense. And she really loves water, so she is just gonna have water with her food. Like you just pour it in kind of like cereal. And she really likes it. She ate her entire bowl of food this morning, and normally it's not that easy to get her to eat. She will eat. She just likes to like play with her food or like do like games or something with it. Like we even brought out a puzzle toy for her yesterday and had her play with it in the yard because she really liked the puzzle toy, but the puzzle toy doesn't fit in her crate. And when we tried to feed her outside, because it did rain last night, it actually thunderstormed, and it rained. All the cars are extra loud and it was stressing her out. Well, not really. She was just like sitting and she didn't want to eat. So that is how that went. But she has eaten and she's had water. She also had water before the food, so that helped. It is 5 of Pentacles, I believe. Get that pulled up. One of them has like a staff, so at first I thought maybe it was like a version of wands, but it has to be pentacles. Cups, wands. Yeah, I said 5. Hardship, loss, sadness. Oh gosh. 5 of Pentacles represents a time of hardship and loss, likely in material form. You may be feeling as though you're in deep trouble, and in order to pull yourself out of this rut of devastation, you must not be afraid to seek outside help. Often when we struggle, we are so lost in our own worry that the concept of outside help rests undisturbed in our blind spot. Even if it feels like you aren't going to recover from whatever grim situation is afoot, that all hope is totally lost. There will always be some opportunity to turn things around, and it might not be easy. 5 of Pentacles reversed can indicate that time of financial hardship is coming to an end. Maybe you've secured a new job or found help in some other way. This can also indicate that you're placing too much value on wealth. Sometimes it's okay to have just a little, so long as you're fulfilled and safe in other ways. The models are Terry Mead, she, they, and Clark Napasindeo, he, him. There's that. I'm gonna get that shuffled up. Interesting. I wasn't really focused on the cards, so I suppose it's not really the card's fault. But yeah, that is shuffled. I am so tired. I'm just reshuffling the deck. And I'm gonna put these away. All right, so today we are starting Make Me Better by Sarah Gailey, which I only have on audio, and it's a lot longer than I thought. It says the audiobook is like 14 minutes long, which surprised me. I normally listen at 2 times speed, but that's still a lot of day. I really thought it was going to be shorter because Spread Me was so short. But it's a long one, so I might not finish it till tomorrow. We will see, because my day is actually pretty busy. I have a meeting, I have other stuff I'm going to have to do where I won't really have my audiobook on, but we'll just see how things go. If I have to finish it tomorrow, I have to finish it tomorrow. But let's get the audiobook started, Grimalinos.
Macmillan Audio presents Make Me Better by Sarah Gailey. Read for you by Etsy Sands.
Good morning, Grimalinos. So I did not actually finish Make Me Better yesterday. I'm gonna wait till I'm done with it to actually talk to you about it because, one, the audiobook, I'm just gonna say up front, was probably not the best choice for me. There are a lot of timeline jumps in this to establish like the world of this cove and like how the Salt Festival came to be, and like what's going on with the people on the cove. And I would have preferred that in a physical read. I think it would have been easier for me to understand and like follow. Now it is labeled, like each chapter heading is labeled, so the narrator is saying like this to you, but because yesterday was I was very high yesterday and had a horrible headache for most of the day because it was like storming, but the storm hadn't broken, so I had like a storm front migraine. I was just like not feeling the best, so it was a little hard for me to follow some stuff, and so it like would take me a sec to be like, wait, who are we with? And it also made me feel like some of the points of view, some were interesting, some were like very necessary, others were for world building, but like I didn't really need them. Like I kind of wish they had just been like inserted into someone else's chapter, and I think they could have been in a certain capacity. We are also following a lot of characters. Well, technically Celia is our primary character, who's come to the island. I will give you the general premise that like Celia has come to the island because her friend Adelaide had told her how good it was, and really that it could fix broken things. And Celia has a lot of very deep-seated just trauma. She has a lot of trauma she's dealing with. She feels very alone, and she has decided that she wants a baby. And she is hoping that by coming to the Cove and the Salt Festival, that is the only time they allow outsiders, that she will be able to get what she wants, because they're supposed to make you better, they're supposed to help you, they're supposed to make you like better. That's the whole thing. And so she's really hoping that will help her have a baby. She has had multiple attempts. She is going through this by herself. She has just decided on her own that she wants a baby. And she is trying to see that through, but it's very much not going well. She has experienced a great deal of loss on that front, and on top of that, she doesn't really have any family to rely on, and she's been in relationships before, but she's really decided they're not for her. Like, she can't really be in one because the relationship always feels very one-sided to her. That's Charlie. Krista is home, so she's downstairs. Charlie is fine. She's yelling. She's upset she's in her crate, but we were giving her some downtime after she ate breakfast. So that is what like the core focus of the summary, like the synopsis that I know is. She becomes paired with Easy, who is a lifer, kind of. There are people who were born on the island, there are people who were brought to the island very young, and Easy has been there a very long time. So Easy is partnered with her, and it seems like Easy has a very specific job at this point in her life, and it kind of is to find people who maybe are meant for the island. And so that's sort of how that plot is going. I can get why Jordaline was very into Easy. Easy is a very very impressively described person, and we actually get like a full description of what Easy looks like without clothes on, in like a non-sexual way. She just like isn't wearing clothes. And the community is very like everything is shared. Like it's very like if you picture a utopian society from like a 1950s book, this is what it would be. Like everyone shares everything, we all like live together in harmony and community is key, and like nothing belongs to you, it belongs to all of us. But there is still like kind of a leader, though that varies depending. I won't get into that too much, though you do get a description kind of the leadership stuff. And then like that's what's going on, but we're also getting like a darker side of the island, and like something that has happened that kind of changed the whole course of the island, and how the people of the Cove react. So yes, it is like it's interesting. Like the premise of it is really interesting. I enjoy the plot of it, but I do think the book is very long. On standard speed, the book is 14 plus hours, and I was like, what? So it does feel long to me, and like some things could be condensed or put into different chapters. Like we've gotten a woman named Edith's point of view, Jesse, someone with an L whose name I can't remember right now, two different men, Caleb and Henry, William, Easy, Adelaide, Celia, and like I feel like we've gotten a couple other like random things. And then there are other characters, like there are people who have come to the island for specific reasons. There's like a woman looking for her daughter, even though the island consistently insists no one comes here, like no one gets to stay, we don't know what you're talking about. And so there is something very dark there. Again, I am enjoying it. I think the concept of it is very creepy and interesting, but like it just feels too long. I'm close to done, so I'll give you final thoughts when I get there. But I do feel like some of it is a bit dragged out for me, and I wish it was like condensed a bit. Also, the concept of children is very key, so I'm wondering how that ties up, because having a baby and like that baby being yours, and like having a baby so you have something that is yours implicitly and explicitly, yeah, like the baby is yours no matter what, like no matter that they grow old or don't really, like the idea that a baby will love you forever even though babies grow up, that has been brought up. The idea of babies and how they should be raised, and like children as part of community, and like this whole thing, there's been a lot of discussion of children, which is very interesting. But like, because all that is going on, some of the side plots I don't like, some do kind of make sense because they tie into that, like the idea of, well, children are the most important thing, and the reason for kind of a lot of stuff on the island. But yeah, so I'll give you final thoughts when I get there. I did do a card pull. This was kind of a hot mess. I basically almost dropped my tarot deck like multiple times today. I ultimately pulled the 10 of Cups, even though I literally like also knocked a ton of cards out of the deck. It was a whole thing. I also think I might start shuffling them so there are some reverses. I don't know how I'm gonna go about that. I'm sure there's like a suggested way to do that, but I'll figure it out because I think it would be interesting to not have them all just up. But 10 of Cups is fulfillment, contentedness, completion, home. The 10 of Cups signifies the light at the end of the tunnel, the best outcome, and an end to the journey you've been on for quite some time. It's a happy, harmonious card that brings joy and fulfillment your way, leaving you feeling complete and pleased. Good moods abound when this card appears in your reading. You have clarity and can see and appreciate the people who helped you along the way, and now is a wonderful time to bask in one another's company. This gives you the power to push distractions aside and hone. It says home, but I'm very sure it should be hone. Hone in on your true gratitude for people in your life. The reverse would be you're looking for clarity on exactly what happiness means to you. And then the models that are listed, there are 4 people, but I have noticed that if there's someone who looks like a child, they're not credited. So it's Brandon Connolly, Michaela Seaman Connolly, he, him, and she, her. And I'm presuming they're children, but you know, they're not credited, so they could be made up children. Who knows? But yeah, so that's where we are. I'm gonna get back to Make Me Better. I think I only have like 30 minutes left. I was really close. Also, I am listening to it at like 2.5 speed at this point. I waffled between 2 and 2.5 yesterday, so I was like switching it up off and on. So the plan is to finish that, and then I'll give you final thoughts. And that'll be the end of the vlog, because I would like to get this edited, and I have a bunch of library books that have come in. Some I need to read faster than others. And yeah, so I'm just shuffling this because it's here. But I'm gonna go. So I will talk to you when I have officially finished Make Me Better, Grandma Knows.
This is Ex's Hands. Thank you for listening to Make Me Better, a Macmillan audio production for Tor Books. This program was produced...
Alright, y'all. So, as I finished the audiobook, I was fighting with Adobe Express, which is the software, it's not even software, it's a website, that I use to honestly just compile my YouTube footage. Spent the majority of my pre-work time screwing around with that because it's been such a nightmare. It keeps crashing suddenly, and I actually went online to check, and it's basically like a thing. You have to constantly clear your cache, your history, like everything to get it to work, and hopefully it works now. Hopefully. I'm just like, really? Why are you not working? It's really annoying. It didn't used to do this. It's like a new thing that's been happening. So I have cleared the cache. I have 1 tab open, and I'm hoping it loads okay now, but who knows. I really don't want to start the edit from scratch because yesterday I actually uploaded a majority of my footage, like just throughout like goofy windows of time, basically my lunch. I tossed it all in there and it was fine, but who knows. But I did finish Make Me Better. So, sorry, I'm still staring at it next to me. It's slowly loading in my footage. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're good. I finished Make Me Better. So we do get some very upsetting things, especially regarding children and how the community handles babies sometimes. Also, we got some backstory on some characters that was also incredibly depressing. And we learned more about Celia. And I would like to say that Celia makes some choices that I personally would like to think I wouldn't make, but I will acknowledge Celia has no one, absolutely no one, and she is desperate to have a family, and so I am not shocked by decisions Celia makes. I'm not. Now the story itself is really, if you think about it, it falls into one of those like wellness cult kind of books, so just keep that in mind if you're reading this. Whereas Spread Me, I haven't read a lot of Sarah Gailey, but Spread Me was more like sci-fi, horror, and oddly also involved an element of community. This is a bit different though. This is really focusing on like what living in what is basically a cult will do to you. and how persuasive cults can be. And there is a little bit of body horror in this, which is very creepy. So keep that in mind too. It's not marketed as horror, I don't think. I forget what it is marketed as, but I don't remember my library saying it was horror during my desperate quest. Sorry, I need a sip of coffee, but like during my desperate quest to get the book, I don't remember it popping up as a horror book specifically. So I just like fantasy. It's where it said sci-fi, but I don't remember it being horror, but I feel like horror would fit in here. It's a well, like, established world. Like, you definitely understand what's going on and kind of why it's all going on and like how this could all come to be. That definitely fits in. We don't get a huge explanation for one specific thing happening, that I think would just be too difficult to do that with all the other information that's being added in. So there is a discussion of something called the Reef. You don't get a ton of backstory on the Reef, it just exists. So just kind of go with that. It's a little bit like, it kind of feels like her horror element in Spread Me, where it's the entity. Just kind of look at it that way. That's the only thing that doesn't feel as developed is the actual Reef, whereas everything around the Reef is very well established. I did ultimately enjoy it. It had the ending I kind of anticipated, not completely, just in part. I also kind of wish we had gotten a little bit more of Easy's point of view. Easy appears throughout the story, but I felt like we got a bit more backstory for some other characters and not Easy, and I would have liked a little bit more in certain spots. But overall, I did enjoy it. I preferred Spread Me to this one, I think really because that was handled so well in such a short like span, even though that plot is a wild time. This just felt a bit drawn out for what it was. And I do wish it had been a bit shorter, like condensed in some capacity. But I think a lot of people will like it, especially if you like a cult horror. Like a cult, not a cult horror. I'm still staring at this. I have no idea if it's gonna load. Sorry, you can't see Adobe Express. I'm not gonna show you. But over here, it's just like, you want me to work? What are you talking about? And it's like not doing anything. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Sorry, I'm very distracted by it. But yeah, that is everything for this vlog. I know this vlog is long, but also puppy Charlie requires more time than adult dogs during the day, which does limit my ability to like read and get stuff done, which I totally understand. Knew that was gonna happen. I do have lots of books to read. A lot of them are pretty short though, so some of my upcoming vlogs are much shorter books, though I think my next vlog will hopefully include 2 Literally Dead book club picks. I will just say, oddly enough, I could get the August book, still don't have the July book. My library's ability to get me Dead But Dreaming of Electric Sheep is, it's not their fault. There's like 1 copy, but I've been first in line for weeks. So we'll see if that comes in. I'm hoping, really hoping, but that is it. If you like this vlog, let me know. You can comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm also on Instagram at CliffGoEverAfter, and I'm gonna go, Grumbly Nose, because I need to attempt to try and hopefully edit this video. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.